All right, here we go. Another edition of Delco Sports 360 on this Monday night. Dave Berman, special guest on this chilly evening in the becoming the heart of getting very close to the heart of winter, even though technically it's still the fall. We have to my far left, Mark Sills. Hi, Mark. How you doing?
How you doing?
How are you going? And Gary Lumpkin. Both guys are from Delaware. Born and bred in Delaware, but a lot of connections to Delaware County and, of course, the town of Chester. We'll get to that as the show goes on. Mark is Afro-American Sports Hall of Fame president, attended Glasgow High School in Delaware, Morehouse College, Delaware State University, also in the Delaware State University Athletics Hall of Fame, inducted into the Philadelphia Association of Black Sports and Culture Hall of Fame back in 2013. Mark, we can write a book about you. Inducted in the Delaware Afro-American Sports Hall of Fame in 2014. President of Urban Youth Incorporated, organizing basketball tournaments and leagues for the past 30 years. Director of this upcoming weekend, Saturday, December the 14th, the Winter Classic High School Basketball Showcase. Again, at Mount Pleasant High School, right down the road, not far from Delaware County, maybe from Chester, 10 miles? Maybe at the most 15. So Mount Pleasant High School, where Dr. Jack Ramsey actually coached at one time, the NBA great. No, Dr. Jack from Upper Darby beat our 76ers. You might have been too young, Gary. 77, Dr. J, Bill Walton, the Lucas fight with Daryl Dawkins, and we can go on and on. Anyway, Gary, of course, head coach, William Penn, Newcastle High School, Delaware boys basketball team, state runner-ups 2 years ago.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm trying to follow Delaware, too, along with all my Pennsylvania stuff. And also one of the greatest high school basketball players ever at William Penn High School, class of 95. During the junior year, 93-94, when Chester won the state championship with Solo Shaw, Ray Carroll, and those guys, so did the Colonials of William Penn, 67-62 over Caesar Rodney. I don't know if LaRon Prophet was on that team. Yes, he was, and they're from downstate Delaware. It was in the state championship game and at the Bob Carpenter Center, the Carpenter Complex. Senior year, led the Colonials to the state final again, and I was in Harrisonburg, Virginia at the time, and a buddy of mine said, I want to come up and see Chester High play, the defending state champs. I said, we can also see 2 games in one day. The Chester game started at 1. It was the opening round of the state tournament Chester played, and then your game, I think, was 4 o'clock, the state finals down in Delaware. My buddy from Virginia couldn't believe it because it's a real spread out area. Anyway, that was an unbelievable game. St. Mark's beat you at the buzzer, 52-51. I have the final score. Unbelievable. Also, you're in the Delaware Basketball and Xavier University Athletic Hall of Fame. There you go. Gary Lumpkin to my immediate left. Mark Sills to my far left. All right, guys. First of all, Mark, thanks for joining me on the show once again. And let's get into the event coming up. You and I talk a lot. I always try to keep you up with Pennsylvania, what's going on. But we have some Pennsylvania teams here on Saturday, December 14th. It is $25 for the entire day, all right? And then we have 7 games on tap, and I'm the public address announcer for every game, so I better save my voice throughout this week. But go ahead, Mark.
Yes, on Saturday, December 14th, the director of the Winter Showcase is our 4th year having the showcase, and we're looking forward to some great games. We have 7 super games coming up. Pennsylvania versus Delaware. First game is Delaware Military Academy at 12 o'clock versus Benjamin Franklin High School from Philadelphia, PA.
Now, our buddy was the head coach last year, Ronnie Sizer. I'm not sure if
Coach Ronnie
is he
Sizer.
back? Or?
No, we haven't. They haven't.
Okay, they updated their max preps then.
Yes.
Okay, and so Ben Franklin, I remember. I'm so old. Pooh Richardson played for them.
He sure
They
did.
had, and the coach. Oh man, the coach was crazy. I don't know if you ever met him. He's still around. Kenny Hamilton.
Yes, I know Coach
Oh
Kenny
man,
Hamilton. Yes,
he was awesome.
Yes,
when they had those
he was.
Chester Ben Franklin games back then, and he would be going off on the crowd. He was the greatest.
Very animated. Yes.
So tell me about Delaware Military Academy. I know they're always they're pretty good in football too.
Yeah, well, don't know much about what they have this year, but from what I hear, they're going to be pretty decent. But I haven't seen them play myself.
And the Philadelphia public schools like the Overbrooks and Ben Franklin's, West Phillies, they would be even better. But, you have so many of the charter schools now with Imhotep is one. We had mathematics, civics, and science, but they closed down. You got Constitution, technically a public school. So it's tougher these days, but give the coaches a lot of credit because the kids they have, it's exciting basketball. 1:30, Dickinson High School, Delaware, Liguori Academy, Philadelphia.
Yes.
And when I played hoops, Gary, you're not going to believe this. Sonny Reeler, the assistant coach for Dickinson, he was playing with us at the Chester Boys and Girls Club maybe 4 or 5 months ago. I think he comes there a lot. He's still good.
Oh,
So Sonny, Mark,
the lights out. Yeah.
Sonny Reeler, and 79 years old. He's on those Derby teams, back-to-back state champs. Now Derby merged into Penwood, so there's some history there. Dickinson, Liguori at 1:30. Then Chester girls. We got a girls game. Marvin Duke's doing a great job. Chester girls have a lot of talent. That's going to be a fun game against Mount Pleasant, who is the home team at 3. 4:30, the Speed Boys of West Philly taking on. Well, can we go to Gary right now and talk about his William Penn Colonials this year? First of all, how many years head coach of William Penn?
This is my 5th year.
Year number 5 already. And you have made some runs last year. You did go to the state tournament, I believe.
Yes, we did. Yeah, we lost in the second round. Yep.
Yeah, it's a tough state. There's only, I think, one class, but down there it's open enrollment, a lot different than Pennsylvania. So a kid from, you actually, if a kid says, I live in Rehoboth Beach, coach, but I want to come up and play for your team and I'm good enough, they can do it if they without being penalized by they penalize our teams for the transfers. But anyway, all right, tell us what you know about West Philly. Now, I thought they have a kid, Mikael Butts. They did. I thought he left and went to Camden. I looked at their roster the other day. He's back.
Yes, he's a super ball player. He played in my showcase about 2 years ago versus Howard High School. He's a 6'7", small forward guard, and he can really play. He's a high jumper. He can jump high. He can handle the ball. He can defend very well. He's a very good ball player, and he's back for West Philly.
I thought in the offseason, Malik Waynes had him. Malik is the head coach of, we all know him from Villanova. And so let's do some scouting here. First of all, tell us what you know about West Philly, Coach Lumpkin.
Don't know a whole lot yet. In the process right now of scouting them and Bonner out of PA. So we play Bonner, PA on Friday night, and then we'll play West Philly Saturday. So doing a little double duty right now. I've seen a little bit of West Philly. I see it. They're athletic. Like to get up and down quite a bit.
Good coach.
And the young man, I believe that's him. I don't know their names yet.
Left-hander? Left-hander.
Yes,
spots,
yes. He was on the front of the 1-3-1 that they were running there when they played one of the schools. I can't remember the school they were playing. But, really athletic, could get to the rim. Again, very good defensively.
Is your next game against Bonner? Prendy.
Yes.
All right. They just won the football state championship. Yeah. Philadelphia Catholic League. It's our first Delaware County. They're Delaware County, Drexel Hill, near Upper Darby. First state champion, PIAA state championship team from Delaware County in football since Strathaven back in 2000. That's how hard it is to win state championships, and you know that. So we have Bonner. So I know a lot about Bonner. Billy Cassidy's the head coach. He follows me closely on Facebook because I announce a Chester Biddy League, and he likes our Chester kids. And he's got 3 of them. If you remember, Rami Davis played for Chester High. His son's a freshman.
Yes.
He's got Corey Francis, who everybody loves him, and he's only a sophomore, and Jabri Carroll. So you've seen enough of them.
I have.
And they just had a big win over, now I'm just...
Malvern Prep.
Yeah, at Paul Romanchik. Yep. We were talking about the Lucas fight with Dawkins, Game 2, 77 NBA Finals. When Luke, you remember, you've seen it before. So Dawkins tries to hit Bobby Gross, so the guy they were battling for the rebound, and he accidentally hits and busts his eye open, Doug Collins. Doug Collins is the father-in-law of the Malvern Prep head coach, Paul Romanchik.
Oh, wow.
So there you go. So, but you don't have to worry about Paul this weekend. But so Bonner's they've had Chester kids over the years. They had Kevin Rucker and then Kyrie Womack, and they played for him. And the success it's been a struggle for them in the Philadelphia Catholic League. But this year so far, beating Malvern Prep, that is huge. Yeah. Tell me what you saw in the film.
They have a young guard also, a freshman that came out of Gunn & Bedford Middle School in Delaware named Cam Jackson, I believe.
Wow, so you got a Delaware young man.
Yeah. And so they have some pretty athletic guys. Corey Francis is one of their guys.
Yes.
Had a big it's probably about 6'5", looks like about 6'5", 6'6".
Oh, he's up. Is that what he's up to? Yeah, I can just imagine Chester High with these guys. Yeah, man. Yeah, but anyway, I could go on.
Remember, Dobbins Tech played West Philly.
Dobbins Tech, Hank the Bank Gathers, and Bo Kimball. Yes. Bo did a great job actually at Overbrook for a couple of years, and he got. I think he lost so many kids to the other schools. It got a little frustrating for him because he's trying to build a program, and then the guys leave the Overbrook to go to the Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you have to deal with that. Well, yeah, you do.
We do.
Down in Delaware. Yeah. Well, there was a kid we saw last year. Robert Wright's. Was it Robert Wright? His younger brother played. He was a sophomore for what school was that? Conrad. Last year. Mm-hmm. And I said, boy, if he stays with them, I mean, is anybody? And sure enough, he transferred to up here.
Louisiana.
Oh, he went to Silesiana. Okay, I thought he was in Pennsylvania.
He played in our showcase last year, and he was MVP.
Oh, it was unbelievable. Yeah. So he's a junior.
He had 31 points in a double overtime win.
Yeah, that was an unbelievable game. Yes. Your memory's better than mine on some of these things. All right, so you got Bonner Friday night. So that's going to be, where's that game going to be?
That game is at St. Elizabeth High School.
That's a nice school, right? It's right there near Middletown, isn't it?
No.
Is that? I'm thinking of St. What? There's a school in near Middle. St. Andrews. Okay, so that'll be. Tell me about your team this year.
Well,
I saw you this summer. You look good at our Splash Brothers shootout up in media.
Yeah, we'll be young. Starting 2 freshmen right now. Kendall Riley Garlic, about 6'2", 6'3", does everything for us. Got a wing kid about 6'1", can shoot the ball, and Aaron Whitaker. Have a pretty athletic wingman with Andy Webb at 6'5", and I have a senior point guard also, Ryan Ramirez, who's handling the ball for us. We just had a tough loss up at Dover by 7, but they're coming along. Kids are learning. We play really hard, and we play an exciting brand of basketball. A bunch of good coachable kids that I think will serve us well as we get start coming down the stretch.
How many guys on the roster?
Right now, we only have 7, and so and I haven't made any comments about this, but I know we've had some transfer situations going on where we have to get guys eligible now. Delaware is taking on a new piece with when it comes to transfers. So we're trying to abide by the law and do things the right way. And right now, I got like 2 or 3 guys sitting out because they're waiting for their possible permission to be able to play.
You're kidding me. When did this start? Because I was just talking about you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, over the summer it's been it's been in the works. We've been talking about it now for at least like last 4 or 5 months, I know at least. And coming around the pike here has been it's been a bit much.
Now up here, it's too hypocritical in Pennsylvania. You get like Roman Catholic they won the Philadelphia Catholic League last year. They were just absolutely loaded. I'm an old school guy. I want to see these guys play in the state tournament. Yes. But of course, the public schools that I know, they're like, when they found that Roman, the PIAA wouldn't let 3 other starters play in the PIAA state tournament. And they still made a nice run to the state quarterfinals. They had Mark Jackson's kids are really tough, as you know. Yep. So, but they were not allowed to play. Devon Prep is another Philadelphia Catholic League school in Chester County. They had 2 guys out. They won the state championship because we have 6 classes there. So that just puts a whole new dynamic in Delaware now.
Yeah, it does.
So, but if you transfer, they say before your sophomore year, you should be in Pennsylvania. You're okay. What grade are these kids in this year?
Before junior year in Delaware. So if you transfer before junior year in Delaware, you get 1 transfer without penalty as long as it's before the start of that junior year.
So they're juniors.
One's a junior and one's a senior.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good luck with that. I hope they're allowed to play. Let all the kids play. Oh my gosh! It doesn't always have to be sports. I mean, obviously they want everybody to go for academics. That's the most important thing. And basketball or sports in general is great, but let them all play. So I'm really surprised Delaware is doing that. Now, are people down there? Or down there, I shouldn't say. It's like 5 minutes away. But people in Delaware, are they going to now complain that the Catholic schools, are being, versus the public schools now? Say like we have up here.
It's been that way.
It's always been, yeah.
It's been that way, and
but I don't see nobody really complains though because it's been open enrollment. So no more open enrollment in Delaware.
Yeah, there is.
Open enrollment, but they punish the kids.
Yeah, but when it comes to it depends. Yeah, you really you just have to. You just really got to follow the rules.
All right. Okay. But anyway, so you have 7 kids, and that you're just going to, you're all going to get a lot of playing time.
Yeah, I just got one added today. So
good.
I have 8. I will at least have 8 when we come to Mount Pleasant on Saturday.
I did see your roster. I saw your roster on there, and I told Mark I didn't have the William Penn roster. I saw 7. Now I think about it, I only saw 7 guys, so I was thinking maybe
that's right.
Okay. Well,
You played at Dover with 7 guys. Yes.
All right. And how's Dover looking this year?
Dover looks solid. They're a long, linky team, athletic, really get after it defensively.
All right.
Yeah.
Who's were there preseason rankings in the state of Delaware? The top 10. Obviously, Salesianum would be number 1.
Actually, Dover was preseason number 1.
Oh well, then yeah.
They won it last year. I know St. Elizabeth will have a strong team.
I thought Salesianum won it last year. Was that football? That was football.
Dover beat
Dover.
Salesianum.
Oh, okay. So Salesianum last year won football.
Yes.
And they won it again this year. Right?
No, they lost this year.
They lost to Middletown. Yep. Lost to Middletown. So there you go. Public beat private right there. Yep. All right. So anyway, you got Dover number 1. Who was preseason number 2? Would it be? Sanford's pretty good.
Sanford's pretty solid. It's a cluster of teams there. Sanford, St. Elizabeth, Salesianum. Howard is going to be a good team.
I love that gym. We had the showcase a couple of years ago there at Howard. You're old, a lot of contacts right there, yeah. So anyway, it's going to be a dogfight. So again, Bonner Friday. Then you have to. That'll be an emotional game. That'll be tough. You want to beat them. You want to beat everybody. But, And then, of course, you got then the Speed Boys in the house. 4:30 that game is this Saturday, the big shootout, the winter showcase at Mount Pleasant High School, $25 all day. 6 p.m., I'll just throw them at you since I have the list on here. And Freire Charter against Mount Pleasant. Ronnie Potts, new coach. I actually, doing those games, I did a few of their games. I was PA announcer for a few of the Mount Pleasant games last year. And Keith was kind of, Brian, the coach, he's more low-key. And Ronnie was really in there getting fired up, He was I know, I saw some stuff on him talk about football. He was a heck of an athlete.
Yeah, he's one of my former players. He played for me at Howard High School, and he plays the way he coaches, or he coaches the way he played. He's very fiery, very aggressive, very passionate about what he does.
Saw him last April. He was up at the Chester Biddy Championship games, so he was checking out. Well, there's some Delaware kids in there too. So you got again, Freire Charter is coach. I know he's going to be excited. That's Calvin Gilbert is the new coach. Did you meet Calvin yet? Oh, you must know.
Yes.
A long time. He's a Chester guy.
Yeah, Chester guy.
Yeah, so
no, I know Calvin, but this is Freire Charter from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right, so this is
Philadelphia versus Delaware.
All right, right. Okay,
Yes.
So this is Freire. No wonder I couldn't find. All right,
Yes. But
so
I know Calvin Gilbert. Yes.
yeah. So Calvin's Freire Charter in
Delaware.
Wilmington.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
So Freire, I didn't know they were still around. That's good though. They've had some good teams against Mount Pleasant at 6, 7 o'clock. John Bartram, Kobe Bryant at Jelly Bean Bryant's stad, his alma mater, late great, against St. Mark's. And St. Mark's, they played the same style as I saw from the 1995 state championship games. Probably again, right?
Well, they're more of an up-tempo team than the 95 team, I would say. And their best player is Khalil Kemp. He's a transfer from Caesar Rodney High School in Camden, Delaware.
His first year with them, right?
Yes, but he is a junior, if I'm not mistaken.
So he's obviously he's eligible. Okay.
Yes.
I don't like talking that way, you know, but now I got to talk that way with you guys because it's not the oh boy. Anyway, so Bartram, St. Mark's, and we'll talk about them a little bit later on. Coach, it's a Lee Sibley.
Coach Lee Sibley. Yeah.
He was a coach 95 team. And is he still helping out, Mark? I forget what you said the other
Not
day.
that I know of.
All right, but it's talking the 30th anniversary there. Look at that. That was a killer. And I saw on your Lump, right? Is one of your assistants?
Yeah, my brother Kenny. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then one of the guards on the team,
Tail
Davis. He was on that team too. I remember I got the box score. I kept score of it. It was an unbelievable day. Unfortunate for you guys, but you won it in 94.
Yes.
Chester lost in the second. They won it all in 94. Then they had a 95. All those guys were back. They beat. I remember the slam dunk to the beach. They beat you, and then we kind of. Still ended up having a good record eventually, but then we went to the States, and Williamsport High School beat us at Pottsville in overtime. We blew an 8-point lead with 1:50 to go and the ball because they kept, Pete White was the coach of Williamsport. They kept fouling us, and we kept missing foul shots, and they hit a three-pointer, got to make foul shots, and they still had to make a three-pointer from just inside midcourt. Williamsport made it. We lose, and there was a lot of trash talk in that game with Pooh Evans. I don't know if I can't remember if he was talking trash to you guys or not, but they were trying to feed, Williamsport was trying to feed into it. So they got more city kids in Williamsport, PA than you think. So anyway, I know it's mind-boggling here. So St. Mark's and Bartram. Final game of the night is Chichester with Clyde Jones. They're off to an 0-4 start this year, but they've been all over the place playing. Tell me about Caravel Academy's team. They were with us last year.
Yeah, they were with us last year. They lost some players to transfers to other schools. So they have a young, and they're trying to rebuild their team back up, so they're very young.
So is this more than usual transfers, or are they going? Any of them going to?
Say so.
And some are going to Pennsylvania.
Caravel lost people that went to Pennsylvania,
Okay.
and also players that went to Sanford also.
Yeah, well, I know for a fact the Philadelphia Catholic League, they have their fan base. What do they call it? Not the Booster Club. It's an alumni association, and they put a lot of pressure on those coaches up there. Do you know any of the Catholic League coaches? Coach Gary Lumpkin?
No.
Okay.
Say that I do.
So there we go. So we rehash on some. Anything else you want to touch on right now?
I'm so grateful that Coach Gary Lumpkin allowed his team to participate in the Winter Showcase. Gary Lumpkin, as you know, is one of the greatest players to ever play in Delaware history. And Gary Lumpkin is doing a great job at William Penn, along with his coaching staff, Kenny Lumpkin, his brother, Tell Davis, another outstanding young man, one of the greatest players in Delaware history. Tell Davis is on the staff as an assistant coach. So I'm just really pleased to have them on board for the Winter Showcase. And the purpose of us having the Winter Showcase is for kids to get exposure, for kids to be seen by college coaches. So I've invited college coaches. Hopefully they will show up. I invited junior college coaches, Division I, Division II, Division III, prep school. I've invited, just about every level. And I hope to have them there on Saturday to get these kids some looks. And I'm hoping Coach Stan Wooderman, my childhood friend, will show up from Delaware State University.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
How they doing so far this year?
We're, I think, 4-5 right now. 4-5. We won our last game on Saturday.
Okay.
Coach Lumpkin, do you know Dante Hollis?
Name sounds familiar.
He's a Chester guy. He says, William Penn legend, Gary Lumpkin.
Oh, yeah,
There
I know
you go.
Dante. Yeah,
All right, so, yeah,
What's
okay.
up, Dante?
All right, so there he is. Thank you for checking in, Dante. I see him at a lot of Chester High football games. I've been their PA announcer for Clipper football. So can I talk about your high school career here, Gary? Were you a 4-year starter?
Yes.
So 4-year starter. Tell us about your background. Where you did grow up. Didn't have to be Wilmington, but I would imagine. So tell us about the childhood days all the way up to your end of your high school career.
Well, I grew up in Newcastle, Delaware. It was interesting because growing up in Newcastle, I felt like I had to get my stripes by going to play in Wilmington. And so never really played in Wilmington until I started playing back then what was called the Stormin' Classic, ran by Norman Oliver and the staff there. Yeah. Got my first dose of Wilmington there, and then came through the ranks, went to William Penn after being at George Reed Middle. Was starting myself, Lenny Brown, who also joined me at Xavier, and Tel Davis. It's kind of interesting how we all ended up there, because we didn't know we were all going to end up there. A lot of people don't know that myself and Tel were actually supposed to go to Delco, and changed our minds and ended up at William Penn. It was a great decision to go there and be able to play together, and had a great 4 years. I think in our 4 years we were 79-21. And state chip, lost to 195. Right. But I grew up with a basketball family. My 3 older brothers all played, Rudy, Kenny, and the one I know Mark would know, but my brother Daniel Lumpkin, who was the 1982 Gatorade Player of the Year in Delaware. Doesn't get talked about much, but he is one of the best to come through Delaware also.
I found that article. It's a nice article.
Yeah.
Article they did years ago
Yes,
with you and the brothers. Yeah,
Yes,
that was awesome.
Yeah, and Danny, he's from my era, and I played against him, and he's definitely one of the greatest that come out of Delaware, and a lot of people don't talk about him enough, and he doesn't get enough credit.
He played at William Penn too.
Delco.
So he played at Delco. Yeah. And where exactly is that? Is that more Newcastle or is that more Wilmington?
Delco's about 10 to 15 minutes from William Penn. Yeah, going, which way would that be going? I don't know.
That would be going, I believe, south.
On south?
Yes.
Did they make some runs, his teams, Delco?
Yeah, I know they went to the state final in '82 and lost to Newark High that had Vince Garlick.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Vince Garlick.
Yes.
And
Andre Ryder.
Yes.
And all those guys.
I can find all that stuff. The new Delaware Online, I call it. What's the official name of the newspaper down there?
DelawareOnline.com.
Yeah, but it's called the News Journal.
Newspaper.
Yeah. Yes, and man, that's Newcastle, where you grew up. Very nice town, right on the Delaware River.
Yeah, it was pretty nice growing up. It was, you know, mom put us in a good position right there, and to be able to go to William Penn, you know, everything was pretty laid out.
Legendary coach. I know Chester 94, 95 did play Wilmington, good old Wilmington High School, and the head coach, and he was a legend. And I'm blank on his name right now, from Wilmington. Gene Thompson. Yeah.
Yeah, legend is, yes, definitely.
Yeah, and then they closed shop. Mm-hmm. So that would be like Chester closing shop. And then those kids went where?
They went to all the different schools all over the Red Clay School District, because, see, Wilmington High was in the Red Clay School District at one point. So they lost all those kids to McKean, A.I. DuPont, Dickinson.
Right,
and then you have the Sanfords of the world, and different schools like that got those kids.
So let's talk about the state championship team in 1994. At that time, did you know the kids on that Chester 93-94 team? I know you didn't play that year.
I did. I only knew Ray Carroll. Yeah, Ray Carroll. We had played each other a few times over the summer, and even one time, it was, you know, me and him had a little talk about this, where I played against Kobe Bryant one time at the Fellowship Hall, and he was there to witness it and everything, and it was kind of funny because I happened to have a good game that game, and not a lot of people knew. So when I talk about it, they're like, man, whatever.
Against Kobe.
And God rest his soul, I know he can't defend himself, but it was, you know, me and him had a mutual respect for each other also.
It was summer of 93 or 94.
I want to say summer of 94.
So summer of 94, Kobe was going into his junior year. Yes. Chester beat them. See, up where we are, we have districts. So it's like a prelude to, you have to win enough games and get a high seed enough to get into the state tournament. Chester met Lower Merion in the 1995 district final, won by 27 points. Yes. And then Chester got upset, second round by Williamsport, and then Lower Merion lost in the first round. Now, the 1996, your first year at Xavier. Yes. Xavier, excuse me. It's not Xavier. No. Xavier. All right, in 95-96, Kobe then won the state championship. Yes. senior year, beat Chester twice, 2 close games, District 1 championship, Villanova, and then overtime, 10,000 plus at the Palestra, and you probably heard all about that. Yep. Now, I drove all the way up from Virginia for that one. So when I was in Virginia, Lefty Drizel was the coach. He loved our kids up here, and you had Lefty. You said Lefty was talking to you.
Yeah, a little bit. I'd seen him at a summer camp somewhere in Lower Delaware.
Hey, I can't hear you, P. Something else is talking over here.
And, got introduced to him there.
They had AAU back then, too?
Look at the screen.
Not as much.
Yeah, I think we should just, like, end the call or something.
From Delaware.
I was so invested. I wanted to find out about when they
who
won.
you played against.
Played against, yeah.
In the
My other concern is I don't know if we're broadcast.
Well, that was Laurent Prophet.
Laurent Prophet, my bad.
Cephas was a big man that played at Sanford.
So he went to Sanford. Cephas is lower
Yes.
Delaware.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you played. Delaware has produced a couple of NBA guys. Well, Jalen Duren, you want to include him, even though I guess he grew up in Sharon Hill, and then he moved to Delaware, and and then some people in Chester still claim he had some roots in Chester, could have played for Chester. So, but anyway, he's doing well. But he bounced around a little bit because I got a picture with him his freshman year, 2019. He was a freshman at Roman Catholic High School. I announced the game on the radio. They beat him up pretty good too. A loaded Lower Merion team. Then he came back the next year, and then it's 2020, and then everything stopped because of the coronavirus. Excuse me. That's whatever. People have different names for it, but the coronavirus stopped it stopped your season too, right in the state playoffs. But then after his sophomore year, he transferred. I forget where he went. Montverde, I think. Jalen Duren. He went there, and now he's in the NBA, and he's doing good. He's a ferocious player. I wish the 76ers had him. Yeah. He's a tough kid, man. So he has still a bright future. So yeah, so many connections in sports. So you win the state championship in 1994. You beat Caesar Rodney, and that was apparently right down to the wire, I would imagine. Or what did you?
It was pretty close down to the wire. We had to pull away at the end there.
Why are those kids so rural down there in Lower Delaware? Why are they so good in basketball and even football? I guess it's like Pennsylvania. We have rural areas, and everybody thinks, the kids from the city or the congested areas will beat them. But no, not the case. But they find a way. Great stuff down there. Rehoboth Beach, Delaware has Cape and Lopin High School. Yes. They've been getting better over the years. Then the state finals '95, and just a great. It was one of the greatest games of all time. Unfortunately, you have to have a winner, a loser, and they beat you at the buzzer. John Gordon was a heck of a player on that St. Mark's team.
Yes, he was. John, great player in his own right. Again, another guy, one of my really good friends who I didn't feel like got a lot of credit for being one of the best players, to come through Delaware. But John was tough every year. He's
in landscaping now, I think.
He does.
Where's Alex Carlson these days?
Alex is around. I've seen Alex. Yes. Alex is. I mean, them guys are doing well.
Right.
They're doing well. Gene Kelly, doing
well. Yeah. It was just incredible.
I think Alex, isn't he like a baseball coach at one of the schools? Sure. And I think Wilmington University is like the baseball coach or something.
That game was televised, and I'd love to know who those announcers were on the TV. They same guys did your game in '94.
I'm not sure about that.
All right, but they were. I don't know if you know those. It's 30 years ago already.
Yeah, 30 years ago.
30 years.
I think it was Angelo Rossi.
Angie Rossi.
Yeah.
I think I just remember the color man.
Yeah.
Said, oh my.
Right.
Is that him? Was that
yes,
him?
That's him.
Is he still around?
I haven't seen him in years.
Because 30 years ago, it's scary. I'm 66 now. So, Mark, you were 30 years old.
Right,
I'm giving your age out here. I was 36. I was 36, and it just seems like yesterday.
Yes.
But he got in trouble. Bobby Jacobs. I worked for him, and then it's an unfortunate situation because that slam dunk to the beach in '94 was an incredible event.
It was amazing.
DeMatha was there.
Yeah.
Were you there in the cafeteria that night? Chester, DeMatha.
Yeah, I wasn't.
You heard about it.
I heard about it.
Yeah, because
I just remember.
I was there. I was right there, and I couldn't believe it. But there was a little trash. DeMatha beat Chester. There was, and Morgan Wooten was the coach, and there was. So anyway,
So I wanted to say something about that. And I don't know if many people. I mean, there are quite a few that remember, but I remember that, this was our own feeling about it. The first year, Bobby Jacobs put us in the Governor's Cup, William Penn. Myself, Lenny, Tell, because we felt like we were three of the best around, and we said, well, we kind of felt slighted that they put us in the lower bracket. Nobody would really see us. Scheduled us really early in the morning. So then the next year, our junior year, they said, well, let's put them with the big guys, and we came in and they expected us to lose to Franklin Learning Center.
I think they might have won the Philly City Championship that year. They had a
Robinson.
Buzzer beater, Michael Robinson.
They had another kid. I remember his number was 23.
Farron Ham, I think his name was.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He was earlier.
Oh, he was earlier.
Because that's when they played against Rashid.
Okay.
91, 92.
Okay.
Because I saw Rashid win it twice, the city. But anyway.
So we played them, beat them by 17. So they were like, well, there's no way that they'll beat St. John's out of D.C. the next game in the semis.
Oh, no way, because they're
and we beat them by 8.
How'd you do that? I mean, they must have been like 6'8", 6'7".
Yeah, we just battled. We had outside of Melanie and Tell, we had a 6'5" center that was just very technically and fundamentally sound, and just was a big body that just played well against bigs.
What's his name?
Mike Terry.
Where'd he end up?
Michael Terry. I don't know where Mike went. But he was the unsung hero of our team for sure. And
so 94, 95.
Yeah. And then the last game, the chip. I knew they thought we were going to get blown out there, too. We beat Erie Cathedral Prep.
Oh, yeah.
With
Booker Coleman.
Yep.
And they beat no. Chester, 93, 94. Chester beat them in the state finals.
Yes.
They won it the year before.
Yep.
Booker Coleman, Jed Ryan.
Yep. Jim
Ryan.
Ryan.
So 93, Chester was a bunch of sophomores, and we upset Norristown High School. And they were loaded. Okay. Chester upset them in the state quarterfinals, and they said, we're going to play a bunch of, Hazleton, PA. And I knew that they had a transfer come in. Hassan Abdullah, his name was. He moved in from Williamsport to play for Hazleton. It's about 6'8". That helped Hazleton a lot. Plus, they slowed the game down. And Chester was 93. They were a little young. Solo Shaw was a junior, remember, Jamar. So, and Chester lost 48-47, missing a shot at the buzzer up at the Hershey Park Arena. Then Hazleton, I was down in Virginia, and I drove up. I wanted to see Hazleton in the state finals against this Erie Prep team, which I heard so much about. And it was like 41-33 final score, Erie Prep won. Hazleton, he tried to slow, because, So I was kind of hoping they'd win the state because they beat Chester. But then the next year, Chester got a chance to play Erie Prep, got through. We never thought they would because they had Glenn Mills was unbelievable, too. I don't know if you ran into those teams.
Nah, I've never played Glenn Mills.
Yeah, Davis and the point guard, now I forget his name now. So then Chester beat them in 94 state championship. You win the state championship. Then you and Chester met. The next year, 95, December, Christmas time it was pretty much, 1994, 95. So tell us about that game. That was I would remember I was press row. It was intense. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Chester game. Ray Carroll was the name that I really remember. They had a point guard, Boo.
Randy Maltzby. They had Pooh Evans.
Was that Pooh?
Pooh. That is Tyreek Evans'
older brother.
I just remember he was dark and he was muscular, and he was a hound to handle.
And he's still doing a lot. I can't believe you don't keep in touch with these guys. You're so close because he's doing a lot of basketball.
Yeah,
Pooh's doing a lot of stuff in the Chester, old St. James High School. So Pooh, Randy Maltzby.
Yeah.
We had Ray Carroll, we had Tyran Watkins, 6'8", Garrett McCormick,
Y'all had a
6'8".
unit. Yeah, y'all beat us pretty good that day.
Johnny Linehan.
John Linehan. I do remember.
Oh, he was coming in. He was coming into his own. They were so loaded.
Yeah.
He ended up. He's now at Brigham Young University assistant coach.
okay.
BYU. They had a big feature on him.
Good stuff.
I have to send you the link.
Yeah,
it was
good.
on YouTube. It was done like last week. So Johnny, he was in town doing some recruiting. Then he talks about always coming into Chester to see his peeps. So he ended up going to Providence and became the all-time steals leader. Yeah. And then it was eventually broken, I think, a couple of years ago. But John's been, overseas. Kobe Bryant said he was the toughest defender they had on him. Wow. So Johnny graduated '96 for that. So yeah, and then there was a heck of a game against Chester. Yeah. Let's go back to December '94. So. Slam dunk to the beach in Grotto. Their big sponsor was Grotto Pizza.
Grotto Pizza. Yeah, we.
That was a blast. Packed houses.
It was a fun time, man.
Yeah.
It was a fun time.
So Chester beat you.
Yeah.
And then they get upset in the playoffs, and it was an upset, right? I mean, it was state finals, but
well, I don't know because that team was 25-0 that beat us.
You're right.
I'm not so sure. I don't even know if we were probably supposed to win. It was,
But they knew how to. Yes, they played like Hazelton. They slowed it down, and but you got to make foul shots, and But I remember.
So, did you see the end of the game?
Yes. You know what? I can't remember.
Tie ball game.
But you got fouled. Somebody made one out of.
I got fouled.
Did you make both of them?
I made both.
You made both of those.
If I had to do it again, I would have missed the second one.
Okay.
And we had 2 fouls to give. A lot of people don't know that. 2.7 seconds left. 2 fouls to give.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. If I knew then what I know now.
I know.
Now, whenever I'm in a game, if it's under 10 seconds.
Right. Especially in the backcourt.
Yes.
Because sometimes you get them in the front court and they'll try to, at the last second, throw a shot up and the ref will go 3, But, oh, man, okay, we're reliving this 30 years ago.
Yeah, right.
But it's a learning experience.
Definitely.
And, do you have any kids?
I do. I have 3 kids. My son, Jalen, is 26, and I have 2 daughters, 22 and about to be 20.
Any of them play high school ball?
Volleyball. My son played football. And he ended up finishing up his football career at Georgetown College in Kentucky.
Oh, nice.
And my girls right now, one of them is about to graduate from Lincoln in PA.
Yep.
She got her 1,000th assist as a setter in volleyball.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so my youngest, she's going into her, about to go into her junior year.
Volleyball's it's a growing sport down here.
Yeah.
It's getting it's big in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
So what high school did they go to?
They went to Middletown High School.
All right. Yeah, they produced unbelievable athletes. What a win in the state final for them in football. Yeah. So, yeah. So okay. So you go to Xavier and tell us about first of all, your coach in high school. I'm blank again. Who?
Jim Phillips.
Jim Phillips. Yes, and it was Lee Sibley, the coach of St. Mark's.
They were frat brothers.
That's another story. I'll have to delve into the stories when I get a chance. I mean, I
can scrimmage them a lot because of that.
Yeah. All right. Then you go to Xavier, and your coach out there was Skip Prosser.
Skip Prosser.
All right. Pennsylvania guy, by the way.
Yeah.
The late great, I think. Skip, or
yes,
is he still?
Yes.
Okay. I met him on the trail years ago at games. He seemed like a really nice guy. Yeah, but anyway, so tell us about I have it in front of me, but you tell us about your career at Xavier, right outside of Cincinnati.
Yeah, great experience. Had a great time there. 4 years where Skip Prosser really took great care of us. Really good coach. Him and Jeff Battle, who was our guard coach, who now coaches at Georgetown, assistant coach at Georgetown. They really did a good job bringing us in. Darnell Williams out of New York, James Posey, who ended up winning championships with the Celtics and the Heat.
Yep.
Teray Braggs, big out of Fresno, California, and T.J. Johnson, who was out of North Carolina, Charlotte. So had a good 4 years, went to the tournament a couple years, ran in Charles O'Bannon and the crew our sophomore year.
UCLA?
Yes,
okay,
UCLA.
All right.
And beat right after we beat Vanderbilt. So,
you played against you played against some unbelievable coaches back then too.
Oh yeah. John Chaney, the Temple. It was some good. Jim Herrick, I believe, was at Rhode Island. I think.
Yeah, but Jim
Skinner.
Jim Boeheim still coaching.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the passing of Lou Cornasecca? I don't know if you ever ran into Lou. St. John's.
Okay.
A legend. 99 years young. So you did go to the NIT, third in the NIT your senior year. And so it's amazing. And Lenny, where is Lenny Brown now?
Lenny's in Delaware right now. He's been around. He's been to a couple games, and I see him from time to time.
Yeah, it's unbelievable the history here. So, well, it's what's it like being a high school coach? I mean, is there a lot of pressure from like a booster club or anything like that? Or they give you a little?
Nah, I get no pressure. I don't allow myself to get pressure from outside. I put enough pressure on myself.
There you go. Yeah. Well, you've had a lot of success too, but sometimes. Well, I see it in Pennsylvania. You can have success, and you're still. Parents can be tough, they say these days. But I hope you have good parents.
I have not to this point.
Yeah.
I've not had any issues with parents. Yeah, if parents seem to think that you know what you're doing, they don't usually bother you. So far, I've not ran into that yet.
There you go.
So.
Mark, you want to just keep chiming in here? Your thoughts on things and how the show's going here tonight?
It should be an interesting season coming up in Delaware. We have quite a few good teams, including William Penn. So it should be very, very close this year as far as competition and the teams that are going to be in the playoffs and in the Final Four. It's nip and tuck this year, I believe, as far as who's the best.
One class, have they thought about possibly going to two classes? Football now has 3 in Delaware.
It's been talked about, but nothing has been concrete or put in stone as of yet. But for the last, I say, 3 or 4 years, would you say, Gary, they've been talking about
they have been.
in basketball, but nothing final yet.
How's Ursuline girls are very good. I mean, they're a powerhouse, right?
Yes, they're very good. They
Gigi
lost.
Banks.
Yes, Gigi.
Pride of Chester.
Yes, Giselle.
Yeah.
Yes, and they lost one of their key players. She transferred to a school in Long Island, New York. But Ursuline is still very tough.
I can imagine. Elaine Deladon, right? Is her brother the head coach of the football team at Salesiana?
Yes, he's the head football coach at Sills.
That's her brother.
That's her
okay.
brother, yes.
Middletown, is that just such a growing area? Is that why they're getting?
It's booming. Yes.
Because my wife's daughter lives right outside of Middletown. It doesn't seem that big of a town when you drive through, but maybe the outlying area,
Yeah, it's growing. It's growing.
Right.
That's where I live right now. And it takes a while to get to some places there. Nothing seems to be too close. So,
and
definitely growing area.
let's talk about playing in the Mount Pleasant gym. It's old school. I like it though. What do you think about it, Coach?
Well, I like it. I like it also. The lighting got a little better. I remember playing in there back in the day, and it used to be really dark. It seemed like, or just dim lights. But had some great battles there. Theron Sheehy was once there. Mike Bryson, Jerry Barnes, and Jermaine Medley. Them guys were.
Jermaine Medley, when Chester played Wilmington, it was 1994-95, December of 94. Jermaine was a sophomore on Wilmington.
Okay.
And then they apparently shut down or closed down. All right, so we have Mr. Chester Biddy League, Ralph Dorsey in the house, the legend Mark Sills. So you know Ralph. Have you met Ralph over the years?
I don't think so.
He's got to start meeting some of these. We're 10 minutes away, man.
I need to connect.
Well, Ralph's
Absolutely.
son he's a senior for Chester High School.
Okay.
I mean, we lost our share of guys over the years. I told you about that, but we have a scrappy young team this year, and hopefully, it's still Chester basketball. Hopefully, we can make some noise. Yeah. And his son's doing well, and his daughter is probably going to reach, definitely, knock on wood, but should reach 1,000 points in her career. She's got 700 right now. She's a junior for the Chester High girls. You'll see her.
She's the best player on Chester High's team.
Here you go, Ralph. So Ralph has good genes right there. So you'll see them. And also checking in is Breon Nichols. He says, "Hi, fellas. Do you know Breon?"
Yes.
Okay. So Chester guys checking in. We should play every year. How about Chester? Well, Chester was playing Mount Pleasant the last couple of years.
Yeah.
How about an old school maybe next year we get Chester
Hopefully,
against
we can
William
get 'em
Penn.
back.
I've been in talks with Chester's head coach. I'm hoping that we
Keith
can set up
Taylor.
something. Yeah, Mr. Coach Taylor. Yeah, we've talked a couple of times. I told him I was trying to set something. So Coach Taylor, let's make it happen.
So traditionally, who is considered the powerhouse over the last 50 years of Delaware boys high school basketball? Which team, or is it just kind of spread out? Is there anybody that had a run and win 3 or 4 in a row, state championships? Newark Yellow Jackets, or am I thinking football? I'm thinking football right there.
Well, yeah, I know Sanford won it 3 years in a row.
Yeah, Sanford won it.
Sanford, yeah.
Jair Davis, I remember him. He was so Delaware, they also let you play in 8th grade.
That's correct. At some schools.
Well, Sanford, he was playing in 8th grade
Yes,
against
yes.
Chester, and he looked unbelievable. And they had a tremendous team. And so you got Salesianum. Obviously, he's going to be good.
Yeah, Middletown won it. I think Gary, didn't they win it 2 years in a row?
Yeah, I think they did.
Yeah,
win it
2 years in a row. Yes.
Pride of Chester, and my Danny McGinnis coached Milford to the state championship 1971. Passed away a few months ago. You're the one who told me he passed. He was a star on the Chester High School boys basketball team in '54 that went to the state championship and lost to Farrell. So, but up here, when you talk Pennsylvania high school basketball, it's Chester High.
Nice.
They've been to this. I'm going to throw some numbers at you. 18 state finals.
Oh wow.
18. We lost 10, but we won 8, which is to this day a public school record for PIAA state champion. PIAA, you call it DIAA. Yeah, so Chester, that's unbelievable. I mean, for a boundary school, I mean, they can't, you can try. I know some boundary schools up here in PA are trying now. I mean, trying to play the hardship thing and everything like that. So, all right. So, Gary Lumpkin, good luck Friday again. What's your game plan? What's your game plan to get Billy Cassidy if Billy's checking in?
Well, just
Have you met Billy yet?
that name doesn't sound familiar.
All right, you'll meet him on Friday. Okay. You're just telling me you're on Dave Berman's show. Okay.
All right. Listen, I just like my guys to be gritty. We're going to guard. We're going to play hard. And we're going to be big on execution. Mm-hmm. And we're just going to compete to the very last second. Up 20, down 20, up 10, down 10. Doesn't matter. We're going to play the possession, and we're going to do it with class.
And you have right now 7 on the roster, but you're going to get at least another. Can they practice? Can you guys practice?
They can practice.
Oh, okay. So that helps.
Yeah, I'm just waiting on what it looks like. It could range from the first 30 days, that starts from the first game, being out the first 30 days, to being out the first 30 days plus no postseason. So it ranges anywhere in there.
Mark, how do you feel about that? Because we were just talking about. I was asking you about. Did you know about it?
I heard, but I wasn't sure until Gary confirmed it. But I think kids, should be able to play and not be penalized. Just let the kids play.
Exactly.
And it's in law right now too. So that's Delaware law. They can't it's not just it's just a rule. It's law.
Well, I wonder who started the push for this.
Yeah.
Do you know? You don't have to mention any names, but man, because up here it's so sad. I mean, because we had a kid from Chester. He played at another high school. I'm not going to mention the high school, but everybody knows. Our running back, Deshaun Jackson, played at a high school, didn't play much. Between his sophomore and junior year, moved to Chester, where he has family, and he, first game, didn't have many yards. All of a sudden, he starts raking up the yards, running back. And all of a sudden, I guess, apparently one of the coaches, Deshaun was on TV, did a show recently, from the other high school, had it out for him and complained, and then the PIAA was on that coach's side. Said he went there for sports reasons only. So that's what we have to deal with up here. But some kids, they let play when it's flat out, So it's too hypocritical. So as I said, and I say it on Facebook, let all the kids play. So right now we have 1 minute to go here. Gary, any final thoughts from you? It's great to have you on the show. We could go on and on.
Thank you for having me, Dave. Mark, appreciate you guys having me out, man. I like to do things like this and just to build the network and get William Penn out there and, just advertise our kids, man. I think there needs to be more of that and just doing what we can to help them grow.
The Delaware newspaper Delaware Online, they charge some articles you can get, including, I just don't want to pay for everything, but the article, what did they have, a preview with you guys? What was it again? It was Media Day. I saw that, and that was good looking pictures on there too. So that's nice. And Mike Lang does a great job. It's called The Dialogue. I don't know if he covers you guys. Well, Mike, get on that. I got to tell him. I'm going to send him a message again because I see him all over. He covers Salesianum and he covers the Wilmington schools. And you're basically Newcastle, Wilmington are so close to each other.
Yeah, they are.
You know what I mean? Mark, what a career you've had. I mean, really, kudos to you. Credit what you've done. And you say you have a family too you got to take care of. And you do not look like you're 60, you said?
I'm 60.
Okay, you look 45. Here's a shot. So how do you do it? I mean, and how do you do it, Mark?
I just enjoy what I do. I love what I do. It's not a job for me. This is fun for me. This is a blessing that God bestowed upon me, and I look at it as fun, and that's why I'm able to do what I do, because I enjoy what I do, and I enjoy helping kids, and I enjoy, meeting people. And I want to give a special shout out to Ralph Dorsey, Chester legend, who's helped so many kids over the years, who's touched so many lives. And Ralph is a true, true friend, and I've known him for over 30 years, and he has done great things in this city of Chester. And it wouldn't be right for me not to mention him coming into Chester tonight in his city. So I had to reach out to my good friend, Ralph Dorsey.
Do you have a picture with Ralph yet?
I have several pictures.
Okay, all right, okay, yes. All right, okay. So yeah, because he's you got to love the guy. And he's so passionate about it. And again, he's running around too with one of his kids, a daughter playing for the Chester Lady Clippers, and then the boy, Rashad, he's playing for the boy. He's a senior, so yeah, it's going to be a fun year for Ralph running around, and obviously a fun year for you, Coach Lumpkin. And since we have time, we clearly can't get off the show here till CMB comes back. Oh, his son. So Jean-Pierre, his son, plays for Mount Pleasant.
Oh, okay.
So he was hurt last year. So there's a shout for Jean-Pierre. I'm also supposed to give a real quick shout out. We have the Delaware County Sports Museum in Radnor, a small town, at the municipal building. It's unbelievable, that museum up there put together by Jim Van Koski and others. Having a big book signing on Saturday, December 21st from noon to 1:30. And guys like Tom Garvey talking about the old Veteran Stadium in Philadelphia. John Lemon. Have you met John over the years? The history of Chester basketball. And I helped John out a little bit with that book, with the history. Amazing Phillies feats. Rich Westcott, who covered Chester basketball in the 60s, Delco Sports, and he's looking good. Eagles Encyclopedia. And I tell you, we will continue to talk until CMP gets back here. Mark, who is your favorite professional sports team? NBA team. Are you all Philadelphia?
All time?
Let's go. Who's your favorite NHL team?
Well, when I was growing up, I used to like the Boston Bruins.
Bobby Orr?
Bobby Orr was one of my favorite players.
He was the greatest.
Yes.
With Flyers, we beat them in 74.
Yes.
I was happy. Well, I grew up with the Broad Street Bullies, they were called.
Yeah,
we
rivals.
beat up people to win. They were crazy. They were crazy. Hair pulling, no helmets. So, NBA.
My all-time favorite team is the Philadelphia 76ers. All time. Been loving the Sixers since I was in the 7th grade.
How many world championships have they won as 76ers? And who were the starting centers?
Will Chamberlain, Moses Malone.
Wow. 67 and 83.
Yes.
And we should have won it back-to-back. 68, we blew a 3-1 lead in the Eastern Final against an older Bill Russell's last year. Yeah. No. Bill, 869 was his last year. Back then, Bill Russell was a player coach for the Celtics. Yes. Isn't that unbelievable? That's what they had back then. He was a player coach, and he was unbelievable. So, we blew it. But yes, and so NFL?
NFL, my all-time favorite team is the Dallas Cowboys.
I'm not going to bust your chops.
Yes.
I love them because I used to announce when Micah Parsons played at Harrisburg High School. So I was PA announcer for him. Actually, I knew him since 8th grade. But, yeah, I mean, they've had their problems since 95.
Yes.
They haven't won it since you graduated high school, Coach. Did we cover NFL? We talked baseball. Who's your baseball
My
team?
all-time favorite baseball team ever since I was in the 6th, 7th grade is the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Danny Murtaugh. Yes. Danny Murtaugh won 2 World Series from Chester High grad, like 1940, with Roberto Clemente. In
71.
Yeah, 71. And then 1960, Roberto was on that team. Mazeroski at the home run. And he fielded, I made the post today, that he fielded the first minority all-starting lineup for a baseball team.
Yes, and that's another reason I enjoyed the Pittsburgh Pirates, because they had a lot of black players, and I can identify with them, and I love watching them play because they were all great athletes as well. And Dave Parker, one of my favorite players of all time, he got it selected for the Hall of Fame, I think, yesterday.
Yeah, with
Major League Baseball. Yeah. Dave Parker, the Cobra.
The Cobra, and he was a nightmare for the Phillies. Yes. He and Willie Stargell. So yeah, they haven't won at Pirates in '79. All right, so Coach Gary Lumpkin here. You grew up, close to the Philly area, but again, you might have some allegiance towards Baltimore. I don't know. Your favorite NHL team?
Ooh, didn't watch a lot of NHL, but the name that comes to mind that I watched a little bit was Wayne Gretzky.
Edmonton Oilers. He took care of us. He was a great player.
Yeah.
He was not. He was amazing. Yeah. He was a non-goon type player. Yeah. He had some goons on his team to protect him. Yeah. All right, so Wayne Gretzky. Let's go to the NFL, Gary.
Eagles.
Eagles all the way, baby.
Eagles all the way. Yeah.
Jean-Pierre, we gave your son a shout. There you go. Mount Pleasant. Yep. Your son's okay. He's ready to go this year, right? All right. I saw him on the roster, so we'll see him Saturday. Your favorite NBA team is
Sixers.
The Sixers. Okay. All right. Well, it's been a while. So in your lifetime, what year were you born again?
77.
Oh.
Yeah, I grew up a Lakers fan starting out. I was a huge Magic fan. Yeah.
Magic and Bird, came in together, and the Sixers had to run into them. But Dr. J got it done in '83, so I could talk a whole story about that. We cover everybody. NFL? Do we cover?
NFL,
Eagles, NHL, NBA. Major League Baseball.
Phillies.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
Lenny Dykstra, '93 team. That was so you were it was your junior year. Yep. Okay. So Lenny, that we couldn't win it all, but we won it all 1980 and 2008. Thank you, Jean-Pierre, for everything. Really appreciate it. We have Mark Sills. Thank you. I'll see you Saturday. The first game is at 12 o'clock at Mount Pleasant High School, 201 Washington Street in Wilmington. $25 all-day pass. We'll be seeing you there. And, of course, Gary Lumpkin, you will be playing in the game at 4:30 against the Speed Boys of West Philly and Gene Banks. You heard all stories about those guys. But look them up.
Yeah.
Look up those late 70s. Okay, yeah. Gene Banks, they won 1 million games in a row, and they were absolutely unbelievable. So, Gary and, of course, Mark, I'm Dave Berman. Everybody have a great week, and go Eagles.